It's our coffee date here every first Wednesday of the month. We take the show on the road, and this week we're at Oude Molen Eco Village. We're at the Molestone Coffee Shop, and we use Coffee Date to talk about the issues about the surrounding communities. And what's quite interesting where we are at the moment, when we talk about the city centre, we often think of the CBD. We often think about town, the Cape Town CBD. But if you were to look geographically, where is the city centre? And I would argue that the areas around Pinelands, Langa, Ndabeni, Thornton, Oude Molen Eco Village is largely where we see the centre of the city. And it's a centre of the city which is smack bang between various communities. Pinelands, Langa, Athlone Observatory on the other side of the river. We have Bokmakiri just on the other side of the Black River. So we thought, let's talk to the people involved here. So joining us today, Riad Davids, councilor for Pinelands, Thornton, Maitland, and as well as Alfred Magwaca, who's the chairperson of the Langa CPF. Just how important is this part of the city to you, Riad? Well, besides being the city councillor for this area.
People don't actually live in the city. It's still an apartheid from that time when we were kicked out from District 6. People don't live in the city. So if you're looking at life, you're going to look at life in Langa. You're going to look in life in Maitland Garden Village, which is just down the road. Your life here in the Eco Village, Pinelands. It's all these communities where people live. We don't live in the city centre. Hopefully we'll soon start living in Salt River and Woodstock, and maybe you mentioned Observatory. There's a lot of life there. The city isn't just Long Street, so we are the city.
And it's a geographic city centre that has been, there's a natural boundary of the Black River, but also the artificial boundaries of Jan Smuts Drive and greenbelts and golf courses and highways and industrial areas that have largely divided the communities of this area of Langa, Bokmakiri, Thornton, Pinelands in the past. And we're doing a lot, we're trying to do a lot to try and bring these communities together.
Absolutely. See, the big thing is to have first life in a community. And I mean, Alfred will speak about it. He does Langa walking tours. We have heritage societies in Pinelands. You know, it's where the people live, you create the community. We need to take that back to the city centre as well. But, you know, it costs a lot of money. We'll slowly start doing that. But life is in the suburbs.
How do we get people beyond simply the occasional walk-in tour or the township tour? One of my favorite spots in Langa is New Hope Spaza. It is my favorite, and sometimes if I'm on the N2 and I have some time, I'll just take the Bunga turn off and I'll go get myself a Magwenya at New Hope Spaza. I don't know if the Mai is still there, but there was a gentleman who helped me the last time. How do you get people to engross themselves in the communities that they may not necessarily visit, Alfred?
One has to sell the point of being safe. That is the first. Because some people do not go to communities because people will tell them that it's not safe, you're going to be robbed and all the stuff. So our point of departure is to see to it that there is safety for everyone, not just the people that are living in Langa, but the visitors as well. So we encourage people to be vigilant, we encourage people to be our eyes and ears, and we are talking CCTVs, we are talking programs that will help everybody to be part of the safety plan that we are busy doing.
Langa is... it has a heritage community. It's families who've lived there for decades. There is a growing middle class in Langa. We have ongoing development when it comes to particularly low cost, affordable, I'll say affordable housing for working families. Do you see the image of Langa changing? There's been a whole lot of cultural development at Kukustebe Centre, on Washington Drive, trying to bring culture, arts, community, sport also through the Langa rugby clubs, who I'm quite fond of. So we're trying to make it as a part where all people of Cape Town can come to Langa and say, I'm equally as part of this community as Alfred.
Yeah, Langa is a heritage site. This year we are going to be celebrating 100 years. For that alone, it should be speaking volumes to everybody, not just local but international. Hence, we believe that for us to be the attraction. We have to be productive, we have to produce items, we have to do things that will attract more people just by passing in Langa and think, let me just pop in, I might get something to take home with.
Just how much communication is there between, or interaction between the various communities? And you're the councillor for parts of Thornton, Pinelands and Maitland. So you actually cover a fair bit of ground when it comes to residential, suburban issues that you deal with, but also issues around development, industry, traffic. It's a major thoroughfare as well. How have you been dealing with this, councillor?
So the first thing to do is to say to everyone, take a walking tour. You know, once you take a walking tour through someplace like Langa, you'll see it's a vibrant community. I always say, if you go to some of the affluent areas, they have high walls, you see nobody. And that's one of the things we try to push in Pinelands is come out from behind your high walls. So if you're going to places like Maitland Garden Village, Thornton, we use the facilities and you actually experience the suburb. And it's in the same way with Langa. If people go to Langa to have a smiley, you know, you go to Nzoli's. Langa's got some fantastic facilities. They've got a pump track there that costs 3 million rand. They've got fantastic sporting facilities. They've got an AstroTurf for hockey. They've got a stadium. They've got cultural facilities. They have open air markets. There's such a lot to do with the Netball World Cup. We were in Langa. We were playing street netball. It's all things that you can do to involve the communities. And I say to anybody, the first thing to do is go and do a walking tour. I think the first thing I said to Alfred when I did one, not one person came up to beg me and everybody smiled and said, welcome. Now that's what you want to do. Where in the world can you go where you're walking around with somebody actually says to you, welcome? So maybe I do stick out like a sore thumb, but I'm still told, welcome. And that's what you want to have. So to integrate communities, the first thing to do is just visit, get involved with an NGO, see if something you can do at Langa High School, see if there's something you can do with one of the NGOs, if there's something you can do with a feeding scheme, or even just to contribute to, if you have a business sense or you have an old computer or you want to donate some books or something like that. But it's everything to do to not only assist them, but you're empowering yourself to tell yourself, you know what, I can contribute something. And I think that's the start.
But when we talk about the shared space and how this area connects various communities, and there was a suggestion, Riad, a couple of years ago of what to do with the site of the old Athlone cooling towers. It's right between Pinelands, Langa and Athlone. Currently, I don't see much work or anything happening there, but there was a suggestion to turn it into some sort of shared community space, whether you want to call it a mall, a shopping center, maybe a small business hub. How important is it to create an interconnecting venue between these various communities that are artificially divided by roads?
It's very important to do that. The problem is whether, if you look at the Athlone Power Station, and we're having a meeting on Friday again about it, so you need to look at what's the best use and the best use of land. And most people don't know it, but the most expensive services in any city in the world is underground. So if you're looking at sewage, you're looking at water, you're looking at electricity. So because the Athlone Power Station was designed literally as a electrical transfer station, they've got to keep it as an electrical transfer station. The thing is, there's a lot of other land available, and it's one of the things that Jordan has said is he doesn't want one bit of land to be around there that is not being used. So either you sell it, you lease it, you rent it, but you do something in terms of not just having wasted space. And we need to have a look at it again and say, Alfred, myself, the other councillors, and say, where is our next big project going to be? Unfortunately, after a huge amount of investigation, just to move all the underground services that is in Athlone on the electrical side, we'd rather be better placed at putting more electricity there, having more electrical generation there. As you know, we have got small turbines. We need to upgrade those to better ones. We don't think Eskom's going to come to the party within the next 5 years. We have to do it as a city, and that site is ideal for that. There are sites next to it. There's an initiation site which we have to keep as well. But there are other places where we can actually have these and bridge these divides. And as Lester says, we have to do it as a city. We have to come together as communities and work together more than anything else.
Alfred, as chairperson of the Langa CPF, a message here. What's being done about smash and grabs on Jake's Gerfel? It is absolute chaos, and I believe it's largely people from Langa. Your response to that?
I would say it's both communities that are busy working those robots. When we did
on one side is Bonti, and on the other side is...
When we did a patrol one night, we noticed that the lights in that road are not working. There are open drains that can easily cause an incident and all that stuff. So we are urging people to be vigilant. We are also urging the city to put more cameras that will assist, because some people do not want to talk when they see something is happening. They are afraid of their lives, but with the CCTV that will be able to pick up all the incidents that are happening there, I believe that crime there will be curbed.
A message to Riad. Hi, I live in Thornton. There are many complaints regarding the constant robberies affecting Pinelands and Thornton. I'd like to know when council will be addressing the people that actually live there. People stay behind high walls because of all the crime happening. We don't walk around anymore because of this. I live in Thornton for more than 20 years and it's become worse. Maybe not as bad as other parts of the Cape Flats, but when complaints of raids, we don't hear from the council. Your response, Riad?
Also, it's quite strange because I'm on a Thornton security group where every incident is logged. We have a very strong neighborhood watch. They're part of the Pinelands police station and CPF. So all crime is reported. We take it very, very seriously. I always say to people, any crime could tend up to be serious crime. So everything's reported. We actually have very, very, very low crime statistics. And if there is somebody that is experiencing crime and they're not part of the neighborhood watch, they're not part of the ratepayers, and they're not reporting it, then you actually are living behind your high wall. So if you're not engaging with the community and you're not doing that, then I'd like to really for them to contact me to find out why, because it's a very active community, and every day it's on an Instagram or a Telegram group where every single crime is reported on every day and investigated. We have a very active neighborhood watch, a CPF, Ratepayers Association, Sports Club. So I'd really like to have a chat with this person and find out if there's something I'm not aware of.
I think it's John that says, Riad is my ward councillor and I really appreciate his enthusiasm and energy. That's from John here in Pinelands. Let's talk about public transport. Langa has been in the past one of those train stations affected by the shutting down of service by PRASA, slowly picking up. But besides the railway line at Pinelands, Mutual Station at Langa, very little public transport options, particularly if people, even whether they've been Pinelands or very few taxis that come through this way, or when they're in Langa, it's either a taxi from the taxi rank. We know the issues with taxis, and we know the issues with rail services. As councillor, would you want a park and go facility, a park and ride, a transportation hub that's going to feed this broader area and take them where they need to be? It's not a traditional transport node.
When it comes to transport, it's multifaceted, but the first thing is we really need to get rail back up and running. But then you can have park and go, you can have park and ride and all of those. But rail is the most important one. We have many stations around here. We've got the Pinelands Station, Thornton Station, Mutual Station, the Langa Station. So we need rail to be working, and hopefully PRASA will let us take that over. The next one is a My City bus, very, very important. So we'll have one coming down Jan Smuts for people of Langa to hop on. Conradie, as you know, it's a very big development now, 1,500 residential units already. It's going to be all the way up by time 2027, 3,500 residential units. So we've given them bus times. We've championing via our Mako member Rob Quintus to try to get Golden Arrow to be there as well. So it will be Golden Arrow and then the My City. It has been approved all along Jan Smuts, with a 3 or 4 stops along Jan Smuts coming all the way through to Sunrise Circle, and then from there Barclay Road all the way through to Salt River once that bridge is built across the Leesbeek River. So there are a lot of transport being done, but the most important thing with transport, especially public transport, is safety. And the more and more we're going to be working on the safety of the commuters, more and more people will be confident to take the train. Now we say is, if we look at 2010 with the World Cup, everybody took the train. My wife took the train for the first time in 30 years and she felt safe on the train. Why? And that means it can be done. We have experienced it before. We just got to really push hard, and it's everybody's responsibility, as Alfred said, the safety of everyone, and actually get all our systems working again.
Alfred, I'll give you the final 60 seconds. Langa is a heritage site. It celebrates 100 years and various other public utilities. The library is this year also 80 years. It's one of the oldest libraries in the city. You're not only CPF chairperson dealing with crime and crime, but also tourism. How do we get Langa to actually be on the list of people who says, oh, as a history and heritage part of the city, I want to come visit?
Well, as you've mentioned, that we have a variety of things to interest people. It's not just a walking tour. Other people can dine and do supper or do lunch, because we've got restaurants, we've got chisanyama places, we've got entertainment where our local artists are waiting and dying to blow anyone away with their traditional dancing and singing and all the stuff. We also have now art galleries that are also making inroads, where people will say, I'm not here for a tour, but I'm an art lover. Can you take me to a gallery? So galleries are popping up, and our artists are also excited because now they are moving away from the expensive hiring of spaces in other areas. Langa is going to be the place that everybody benefits from.
Oh, if there's a suggestion, legendary photographer Oude Zilwa, he has a new place in Langa. It's called Cafe Loction. So maybe you can take us on a walking tour and a Uber back home from visiting Oude there at Cafe Loction. Riad Davids, councilor for Pinelands, Thornton, parts of Maitland, also Alfred Magwaca, who is the chairperson of the Langa CPF.